Hello everyone, I'm Irina Baker, a life-changing wizard. I'll introduce my amazing client. She is my inner circle client, Stephanie Fraysur. She's sitting right here with me, as you can see. And it's actually an interesting situation. I've never done this before. Stephanie came for a VIP day with me, and she graciously agreed to have this Google Hangout with me so she could share her results from working with me. So I'm really excited to have her here, and we're doing it in my office here. So we are together sharing the screen, and I think we'll have a lot of fun.
I think so too.
And let's pay attention to this lovely woman. She's so amazing, and I'm so grateful to have her in my life. And just let's listen to her.
Well, I feel the same way about you. You've completely changed my life. First of all, I have to say my whole journey has been so fun, and I know it's going to continue to be fun. I have a blast with it. I'm looking forward to each day, just knowing that I'm getting better and better.
Nice, nice. So let's start with the questions. The first one, let's start with your past. And I know a lot of people are not comfortable with going into details, so I'm not asking you to go into details. This is personal, and of course the Google Hangout is broadcast everywhere, so we have to respect privacy. But we will do what we can to show how beneficial it is to have this type of mentorship. Okay. So about your past, what can you share with us?
Well,
something.
The most thing that I've learned is I needed to focus more on me. I put everyone before me, and one thing that you've taught me is that it's okay to be a little selfish and learn to love myself, which is not necessarily what I always did. So,
okay, that's good enough. So now let's continue with 3 words that changed your life, as you put it this way. Right. So I'm asking this question.
So my first journey, my first little walk, you came to me, or I came to you. I'm not sure. The universe brought us together, and you said 3 little words to me. You had the whole time been trying to help me without even knowing it. You would say little things here and there, but these 3 words that you said that day completely changed my life. I was furious whenever you said it to me. I was mad. You know I was mad. I left the room. I was gone. I didn't come and talk to you for a day. And I took my time, and I really listened to it. I took it to heart, and I realized it was true. I was like, yeah, those 3 little words made a huge difference. I never thought in a million years that they would be true, but they were. And I went from there, and it's been amazing ever since.
And that's how you knew you wanted to work with me?
Exactly. And I knew, this is whenever I knew that you must have had some kind of psychic ability, because you didn't know me.
Right.
I didn't know you. It was just surface, but for you to be able to see me and talk to me and know that much about me in that little time, obviously I knew there was something deeper.
And I had to be really strict.
Yes, because I was resisting the whole time. I resisted and resisted and resisted until the timing was right. And I'm sure anybody who's out there, whenever you are looking to go down your life path, it has to be the right time. And whenever it is, it all falls in place very easily.
When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Right?
Right.
I'm glad you appeared.
Right. So what impressed you the most in working with me?
Well, there's so much that has impressed me. I would say the way that you helped. You never gave me the answers. I would come to you with an issue, and I always valued your opinion. Even if you knew the answer, you never gave it to me. You would ask me just the right question for me to sit and think about it and come up with my own answer. So everything that I've done, all the work that I've done, you've been there, you've guided me, and you've taught me, but ultimately it's me doing the work. I'm learning the lessons on my own, and it's great to have you to share it and to see everything that you've taught me just unfold so easily.
Right. And so I did teach you how to fish instead of giving you the fish, which was also given. The fish was there. Fish was there.
Exactly.
But the main thing was teaching you how to fish.
And you know, just as well as I did, I wanted you to give me those answers. I'm like, come on, it will be easy. Just tell me, just tell me. And you would always have me do the work. And I have so much respect for you for doing that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What was it that I introduced to you that you didn't know? How did I shift that? How did I help you shift your awareness?
It was everything.
Manifesting?
Yes. So manifesting, first of all, is something I don't think I had ever even heard this word until I met you. It was never in my vocabulary. After I met you and you said it a few times, it seemed to start appearing everywhere in my world. And I didn't really understand what it was about. So you kept talking about it. You kept talking, and I listened. And then finally I realized I could manifest things in my life. I changed so many things just by the way that I thought. And I focused my energy on the positive things that I wanted, and I did manifest.
And you started manifesting quite easily.
I did.
So we will talk about specific areas of your life that had improved.
I did, and that's something that you taught me. You taught me to make it easy, and I chose to, and it's been a blast.
And I actually quote Stephanie now in all my classes because I say, well, she came up, or she coined the term because I taught you how to make it easy. So I say, make sure you asked for it to be easy. So Stephanie has her special phrase, and now I teach this phrase to everybody, so she contributed. What is the phrase?
It's been great. Just anytime that you are dealing with an issue and you're going through a release, I talk to the universe and I ask it to be easy, fast, and fun as humanly possible. And it always ends up that way, and I enjoy it. It's a blast. Just do it.
Yeah, I just love this. Humanly possible. So the easiest part is humanly possible, because we truly understand that I don't want people to get confused about. Sometimes it's not fun at all. Sometimes it's not easy. Most of the time it's not easy.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. My first few that I didn't ask for it to be easy. And I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I making this so hard? You taught me I can make it easy and I can make it fun. So why not do it that way?
Mm-hmm. And like I said, sometimes it doesn't look like fun, but that's humanly possible. This is the easiest way you can deal with pain or whatever issue is at hand, but it's easy as humanly possible.
Right.
So that's great, absolutely great, and I recommend everybody to remember it. Okay, so let's talk about specific areas of your life where you got improvements. And I know there are so many, you've been telling me about it, and I said, oh my gosh, we need to have a Google Hangout because I have to share with people what happened. So first one is finances, right?
Yes, and again, there are tons of areas in my life. I don't know if I can touch on them all because I'm a completely different person. But the first thing that started happening with me was with my finances, with my job, which I love. I had been at the same position for a couple of years, and I was ready to move up. I had already made up my mind. I was ready to go. The second position that you would get promoted to in order, I knew I didn't want to be in that position for long. So jokingly, I had told Irina, I'm going to skip it or it's going to be really short. And in reality, I was in that position for less than a month, and then I got another promotion. So with the promotions, of course, that helped with finances, and it all just came together.
So 2 promotions within 1 month.
Right.
And the success was so amazing, not just the promotion, people really congratulated you, right? Your high managers, CEO was congratulated. I mean, it was quite a deal about these 2 promotions within a month. So that was amazing. That was amazing. Easy manifestation, but you have to do the work before you have done it, because for 2 years you didn't have any promotions.
Exactly. And this is where it all comes into play, where you do say, make this easy for me. And I did. I told Irina, I said, I'm going to skip that position. I don't want to be there. So I skipped it. And I mean, yes, I was there for a short time, but it didn't last long, and I'm right where I need to be.
Would you say that you needed to change self-worth, you needed to change inside before you get promotion?
This is one of the biggest issues that I had dealt with, is self-worth. And it's a great lesson. Everything in my world is all about that. And that's one thing that I've been showing myself and teaching myself day in and day out. And I just pay attention to my signs. They're all right there. And it helps lift me up and just know that I'm worthy. I deserve it.
And it's not just saying the words, right? How a lot of women say, I want to buy that dress because I deserve it. But do you really feel it inside?
It's really believing it. You know, and for a long time, I know we had discussed this before, but I would constantly say, oh, I'm awesome. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. And I was almost obnoxious about it. And it got to the point where I stopped saying it. And I just started believing it. I didn't feel like I had to convince anyone, mostly myself. I just started believing it one day, and it just falls in place, and I'm much calmer now.
So you internalized it, and now it's from inside. That's where the real transformation happens.
Right.
When you stop saying it, but you feel it, and you know it. And when you know something, you don't need to brag about it. You don't need to say it. You just know.
Yes.
It's normal for you now. Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm so proud.
And money started coming from other sources, which is unexpected, was amazing, right? Unexpected.
Yes, I was very shocked in how easy it all was. I learned I kind of had to let go of the control. I just was at peace with the situation. Once I disconnected, it all fell in place. Excuse me.
And even for your future, so it's all good things happen. We won't share details, it's too personal, but money is just an amazing part now, right?
Exactly. And it's not something I'm afraid of. Before I was always afraid of it, and now I realize it's a good thing. It's not anything to be afraid of.
Right. Relationship. Ooh.
Where do I start? So I would have to say every relationship in my life has changed because I have changed myself. A lot of people that have been in my life for a long time, that lesson was fulfilled, so they disappeared. Other people I started attracting because I was changing myself. I was changing my worth. I was changing the person that I was. So of course I was attracting the kind of people who were more like me. It's been amazing. I would have to say my family, my friends, my father especially, our relationship, we're bester friends now. Growing up as a teenager, I didn't really know him, and we're best friends. We talk on the phone almost every day, and it's great. I can share with him. We're not just father and daughter now, we're friends. And for me, that is huge.
That is huge. That is huge. It's how many people would say that they would like that.
Right.
Everybody wants to have great relationship with their parents, but there is so much that needs to be healed and go through if you want to really have this great relationship if you didn't have before.
Exactly.
And it takes courage.
It does take courage on both of our parts. You know, obviously I was doing my work, but obviously he was as well, to still be in my life and still be there, and for our relationship just to grow stronger and stronger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's great. We were always more just parent-child. We were never friends. And to have my daddy as my friend means the world to me. It's amazing. And other relationships, I would have to say, even dating, that's been fun. As I first started out, it was every lesson that I learned, it was all about worth. And how people treated me, I allowed them to treat me a certain way. But as I was growing and growing, I learned how I expect and deserve to be treated. So I had certain people would find their way out of my life quickly. And as soon as I knew something was going wrong, I would listen to the voices, I would listen to my gut, and I knew these are the teachings that you've taught me. If they're not right for me, they're going to find their way out very quickly. And people would. I would actually ask the universe, please, if this person is not right, please help them out of my world quickly. They would disappear just like that. So it's been really nice, and the kind of people that not just men, but the kind of people that I attract are much different now. They're definitely on a different energy level and different value. I don't know if that's the right word, but my relationships are much better. They're much stronger. I don't necessarily have as many as I had in the past, but the few that I do have are solid. They're right on.
And that's much better than to have many, many friends. You cannot be solid with every single one when you have so many.
Exactly.
Because you just simply don't have time to really cultivate the relationship.
Right.
And when you have really loyal friends who are the ones who will stand for you and stand behind you and support you, that's a different story.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's a big shift for you too, right?
Very much. It's been amazing. And like I said, I'm looking forward to more. Bring it on, because it just keeps getting better. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm making myself a better person, and therefore the people who are around me are better because of it. I guess that sounds arrogant. But it's true. It's okay to be arrogant.
That's right. Okay. So how did I teach you to think differently?
Absolutely. One thing I can remember whenever you and I first started talking, I would always, a lot of the times I would say, I can't do this, I don't have this, it was always a negative statement. You taught me one day, I know we were sitting having a conversation, and you said, how about this? How about instead of telling me what you don't have, what you can't do, what you don't want, what do you want? And that was, I had never had anybody, like you said, you didn't sugarcoat it. You told me kind of what I didn't want to hear that day. And you were like, okay, so you told me what you don't have. You told me what you don't like. What do you like? What do you want? Why don't you focus on that instead? And from that day on, I'm very careful. And you see me do it sometimes when we speak. It'll take me a second to process what I'm about to say. And I'm kind of slow at responding, but it's because I'm thinking, and the words that I put out, I want to put out the positive energy out to the universe and focus on the good and what I really do want.
And it doesn't come easily at the beginning, because you have to change whole way,
Yes.
reverse whole life that you had before, and you have to reprogram yourself to respond
Exactly.
in the right way.
Exactly, because it is a little, for me, it was a little uncomfortable at first. I did have to change the way that I thought, and I had to train myself into thinking a different way and a more positive way. But once you do it, and the more things that you are grateful for, and more positive aspects, I guess, in your life, the more you have. They just keep coming to you more and more.
And what I'm proud of you for everything, but how courageous you were to be at your job, in your office, and how you changed that energy in your office, and really people started saying, oh, I want to work in her office because she's been a leader of helping others to do the same. Because you know how in an office a lot of times people will have difficult situations, people bully each other, or they don't like each other. We don't choose our coworkers, right, or business partners sometimes. So we need to deal with what we have, and the best way to do it with your personal example and how you set the example to change the energy.
Very true. And a lot of it, for my personal experience, I had the situation, it all just depended on, at first I wanted to blame everybody. I didn't want to take accountability for anything. But honestly, it was me who was creating the situation. It was me who had to change, not anyone else around me. Yes, the faces changed. One person would go away, a different person would come back and be the exact same energy that person who just left, because I wasn't dealing with my issue. once I dealt with my issue, once I changed myself, then the people would change. One person would come back. It would be the exact same person that I was having the issue with in the first place. They would come back. The issue was gone because I dealt with it. It was my problem. I don't want to say problem because none of it's a problem.
And this is amazing that you started speaking about it, because tell me, was it difficult to accept that responsibility? Because for many people it's super difficult. They don't want to believe that they create all situations.
Well, if you recall, you and I were talking one day, and this was one of the hardest conversations that I had with you, where you told me it was me. Who wants to hear that? Nobody wants to. You told me this, you told me I was responsible for this, I was responsible for that. And I had talked to you about my sister, my oldest sister and I were having a conversation, and she got mad over something, you telling me that it was my fault. She's like, there's no way that can't be your fault. And it is, it's my life, I created it. Who's responsible for your life except for you? It's true. And yes, it was a little difficult at first to realize that everything that happened was on me. It had nothing to do with anyone else. It was just the way that I reacted to them.
Right.
That was my responsibility.
How did it liberate your life when you learned that this is it? How did it change your life?
It's changed everything.
I've changed everything.
Well, it's neat too, because you can look at a situation. Now, for me, I can look at a situation or a difficult person or a difficult whatever it is, and I know that if I change my thoughts, if I go into it with a negative energy and I'm like, oh, this is going to be hard, guess what? It's going to be hard. If I go in and I say, you know what, this is going to be easy, just like how I said about I'm going to skip that over. And I had moved probably 2 years ago, I've moved. And I remember it was the easiest move I ever had. And it's because of the way that I thought about it. I just said, this is going to be easy, it's going to be smooth. And that's one thing I constantly tell myself whenever I'm dealing with something, or I say somebody's walking up to your desk that you know they push your buttons. If you just say, this is going to be easy, it's going to be smooth, it's going to go, just whatever it is that works for you, it will work. You just have to believe in it. And that is one thing that you have taught me time and time again, and I'm so grateful, because my life is so much easier now. I could have been doing this all along. Why didn't I?
Right. Next question would be perhaps a little bit personal, if you want to answer. Loneliness. About how do you deal with men, and what about loneliness? Scary thing? Is it scary? How do you deal with it?
Oh my goodness. So I was scared to death. After I got divorced, I was scared to death to be alone. I didn't want to even sit in my house and be alone. I didn't want to be in my car. I would hang out with anybody who would hang out with me, because I did not want to be in my aloneness. So finally, as I started doing more and more work, I realized, and I think you had said it to me one day, you said, well, you're never really alone. And it took me a little while to actually realize what that meant. So I started spending a little bit more time alone. It was very small chunks of time. But I would shut off the radio, I'd shut off the TV, and I would just sit and reflect and talk to myself. I would literally talk out loud to myself. And it's true, you're never alone, because you're always with yourself. So that is one thing that you taught me. I just wanted to be with someone so bad that I felt like, I wasn't complete until I had someone. And honestly, I have learned it's pretty neat to be alone, to be able to sit in your own silence and be comfortable. For me, that was huge. And I'm so happy that you helped get me there, because I could have never done it without your coaching, without your guidance, without your teaching. I could never be there. And I'm so happy to be there. And now I love being by myself. I go for drives by myself. A lot of the times friends will ask me to go out. I'll get asked out on dates. I prefer to be at home by myself.
And here is an extrovert talking, the one who really loves people and is very popular among people.
I do. I do love other people's energy, but I find myself, I need that time to rewind, to disconnect from everyone, and just get my energy back where it needs to go. And that's whenever I notice if I'm getting in, because we all still go through our lessons, no matter how much work you've done. I'll go through a lesson, and then I'll learn that time is whenever I need the most alone time.
So you don't need a man just to feel your loneliness, to make that space, fill that space.
Exactly. And that is such a great feeling, because I always thought that I had to. I thought I had to have somebody there to make me feel complete. And I'm already complete. I don't need someone. I'm very happy. If someone else is happy and they want to squish their happiness with mine, then come on. But if not, good luck to you.
And you really do it. You really, you're very discerning.
Right.
And really, you're not getting, okay, let me have a man just to have a man.
Right.
Amazing.
It is amazing.
I think that's a problem for many people as well, because people are afraid of loneliness.
Well, it is scary. I know a lot of people are afraid of that, and a lot of people will get into a relationship even before another one is over just to have someone because they're scared. But it's great to learn to be your own friend. I would have to say that is the best relationship that I've worked on, is the relationship with myself. Becoming my own best friend, and I always joked around and said I was my own biggest fan. And that's not a phrase that I say often anymore at all, but if you can remember whenever you first met me, I would say that a lot. And it's not something that I'm convincing myself anymore. I'm there. I don't need to say it. I don't need to convince the other people around me. I'm already there.
Right. That's the difference.
Yes.
When you say it, you nailed it. You're trying to convince yourself, but now you don't.
And it is. It's fun to be your own friend. It's fun to like yourself, because we all have our own issues. We all have things that we're dealing with. But once you deal with it and you learn to really like yourself and you learn to really love yourself unconditionally, it's amazing.
That's the ultimate goal of spiritual seekers. The enlightenment is, I say, acceptance of yourself. When you accept yourself, then the light enters your body, and that's a whole other story for discussion. Right. But the ultimate goal, love and accept yourself. Yeah. Yeah, you're moving towards that part. Yes, and how about spiritual beliefs? Do you think your spiritual beliefs change? And I want to make a disclaimer. I did not, and you could confirm, I hope, we'll see, that I did not push my beliefs, right?
Not at all.
Because if somebody is trying to push their beliefs, and I have my very strong beliefs, I'm very opinionated, because I have to be. I have to be comfortable with my own beliefs to help others. So I always say, take it or leave it.
Right, and I would have to say, out of everything that you have taught me, you never did force anything on me. A lot of times I would ask you, well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And I would ask several times before you would really tell me what you thought, because I think you were afraid of forcing it on me. And I never once felt that you forced it. But as far as my own personal beliefs, I was so excited. Growing up, I didn't grow up in a very religious home. We would go to church. We would do the traditional, every Sunday. A lot of my friends were very religious, and I would learn things from them. Nothing really worked for me. I couldn't figure out, I knew what I believed, but I couldn't explain it to anyone. And even still to this day, I don't feel it necessary to explain to anyone. People will try to speak religion with me or whatever I believe. I feel like that's just for me. It's private. It's what I believe, and I don't need to convince anyone. I have one family member who insists that I believe what they believe, and it makes that relationship a little bit difficult, and I'm okay with that. I'm learning to accept it. I'm learning that I'm not in control of it, and they're not in control of me. I do believe what I believe. I don't know how else to say that, but it's been amazing. I know that I keep getting more and more signs that show me I'm right where I'm supposed to be, that I'm learning what I'm supposed to learn, and everything makes sense in my world. And isn't that the ultimate goal? you know, I know that I'm a good person, and I know that I'm becoming better each and every day.
And that's another benefit, because you keep talking about science like everybody knows what you're talking about, but before you didn't know anything about science, right?
I had no idea. And it's funny because they would be right in front of me. And you know, that's a lot of things you would point out to me. And as I started recognizing my signs more and more, the more I practiced it, the more I paid attention to them, the more I would notice. And I have a couple of friends and relatives who now will come to me and say, well, what does this mean? And the best lesson I learned from you is you would say, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you?
Don't go buy books about the meaning of your dreams or the meaning of science, because they're written by somebody else because of their cultural beliefs and educational and whatever background they have. But you have to make your own system.
Right.
And that's what I teach. You have to make your own system.
And that's exactly what you have taught me. I haven't, and people will ask me, because you know, they see the change in me, and they'll see all the positive things I'm doing, and they're like, well, teach me. And, you know, they'll ask me specific questions, and for me, it's difficult to try to explain to them what I believe, because it's mine. It's special to me, and this is my journey. Your journey is going to be completely different, just like your journey is completely different. But for me, it's so precious, and I love it, and I'm having a blast with it.
Would you say that you're more connected? Well, before, would you say you were disconnected, and now you're connected with the universe, with light?
I was very disconnected. I thought I was the happiest person in the world, which I'm still very happy.
Please pay attention here. I thought I was the happiest person in the world, because that's what a lot of people think.
Right.
They are the happiest. They got it all together. But the truth is, it's not really.
Exactly. And I have learned that I'm still happy and I'm still in control of my life. But back then I was just, how they say, faking it till you make it. You know, I was going through the motions trying to convince everybody else that I was happy, but I'm truly feeling that inner peace within me. If I can sit in a room and hang out with myself and be happy, obviously I've done a lot of work that's benefiting me.
Wait, I didn't talk about, just it right now came to my mind that, I don't know if you remember that experience when you told me when you got my book and you put it on the nightstand. What was the story, if you want to share?
I was sitting and I was holding it, The Keys to Freedom. Mm-hmm. I was sitting and reading it, and there's certain books in my world who are obviously just written for me. And I'm sure anybody who's ever read a book, they know that. This book has changed my life. It happened both with your book and with the Vortex. And both times, it wasn't a specific page or a specific message. It was the energy of the book, where I opened it up, and whichever issue I was dealing with at that time, it showed me the light. The book literally was glowing. And that's whenever I knew that book was written just for me. And it helped teach me that yes, you are on the right path. Yes, you're right where you need to be. And it was just such a cool sign, just to know that.
Right. Yeah. So in other words, you turn that, people would not even pay attention. Right. Okay, the book is there, so what? I'm reading it, fine.
Right.
But you looked at the sign, how the light was there, you were aware of it, and exactly. That gave you a very different meaning. It accelerated your release issue at that time, issue of the release.
That's the perfect word, just being aware, because I wasn't. I was, I guess, living in the darkness, and that's how I feel. Everything that you've taught me, I feel like you've given me a new set of eyes to see the world. I know I've said that to you like a bajillion times, but it's true. You know, I see things differently, and I see them, it's almost like I'm looking at them through someone else's eyes, and I'm learning these lessons and doing the work, but it's in a much more positive light than it ever was before.
I can't not say it right now. I give you the right to brag about your perfect vision.
Oh, yes. So one thing that I have manifested, and maybe it wasn't exactly the way that you would typically think, but one thing that I would always want for and wish for and ask for is perfect vision. I had really bad eyesight. The big giant E, I couldn't see it. I knew it was black and I knew it was an E, but I couldn't see it. So I just recently had LASIK surgery, and it's funny because I just feel like same thing. Signs will happen. A certain song will come on the radio. But the day that I got my surgery, my LASIK eye surgery, the song came on the radio. And driving to come and see you, that song came on the radio. And those are those little signs that show you that you're exactly where you need to be. And yeah, my eyesight's awesome.
More, you said better than perfect.
Yes, I'm seeing 20/15.
It's okay to brag.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I don't have to do contacts or glasses anymore.
And you know what it is on a deep level. I'll share the secret that you do have a perfect vision right now because you are aware.
Right.
You are aware of what's going on around you, so you're living in the light, not in the darkness.
That's amazing. And I do love it. And that's one thing that I noticed. I know today I'm wearing a darker color, but even my wardrobe changed.
Just to be around the background, so we won't fade like the flowers.
But I noticed as I started doing the work, because before I was in a darker energy, my whole entire wardrobe was all dark colors. I wore black and brown and gray all the time. And then as I started doing the work, I noticed I was more attracted to lighter colors.
Yes.
And those are the little signs. Those are the things that are important to me.
Right.
And even the decorations in my house, they changed. It was kind of a dark dungeon, and now I've graduated over to the lighter colors, and my life is light. And that's how I feel. It's not just like the light, but everything is light. All my issues are light. All my friendships are light and easy and fun.
And that's what my clients say. The very first things that start changing, or at least they are noticeable to them, is the change of colors in the clothing. They want to go to the store, get better or brighter clothes that will be brightening their mood.
Right.
And changes in the furniture in the house. It's common because that shows your internal change.
Exactly.
And it's just the reflection of outside. Suddenly you're changing everything. That's the sign for you to see, wow, it really works.
Right. It's very true.
And we could talk forever, I'm sure. And Stephanie is as you can see, an amazing person. And really, I'm so grateful thank you that you agreed to share it with us. I have the last question. You already talked a little bit about it, but if you want to add something to it, how about your family and friends? Did they notice changes in you? Because a lot of times people are really hesitant to believe that you're changing, or they don't want you to change.
Right.
So do you want to comment on that?
Well, one of my siblings and I, it's funny because they have been practicing a lot of this stuff for years, but had no one to talk to. So certain words that you say whenever you become awakened, you will say it. And she said a word. I just gave it away. She said a word that set something off in me, and I said, wait, do you know about this? So we were able to share, and she and I have been changing together. We've been, there and helping each other grow and progress as we go. But one of my really good friends, this just happened last weekend. We've been friends for probably about a year and a half, and she had mentioned to me, just out of the blue, she said, you've really changed. And I said, I have? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, how? And she said, you're much more calm. And she said, everything that you used to always convince me or try to convince me, I think that you really believe it now. And I said, well, give me examples. So I used to always say, just for example, I would say something, and then I guess as my excuse, I would say, oh, I'm just me. So I would say, oh, well, I don't like this or I don't like that, but it's okay because I'm just me. And that's how I would say it. Or I would constantly go around, and I know whenever you first met me, you can contest to this, that I would always say, oh, I'm awesome. Oh, I'm awesome. It's because I'm awesome. It's because I'm awesome. It's because I'm awesome. I said that. If I didn't say it once a day, I probably said it 5 million times. But it's because it wasn't for you. It wasn't for anybody else around me. It was for myself. I was trying to convince myself that I was great, that I was awesome, that I'm just me, that I'm not pretending to be someone else. But she had said, she's like, I noticed you stopped saying it a while back. But she said, I also noticed that you really believe it now, that you don't have to say that anymore. You just are. And that was, to me, that was one of the biggest compliments, knowing that I've done the work. And, I've talked to her about it, and she knows all the changes I went through. And, she's not ready yet, which is fine, but she's still coming to me, and she still talks to me about things. And I talked to her about my releases, and that was something I never knew about.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to ask about releases.
Something that you taught me. And the way that I deal with things is, I'm sure, differently than the way that you do. But I talked to her about it because it's funny. And like I said, I asked for it to be funny. I asked for it to be easy and fun and fast. And there's no faster way than to do it. So, I've talked to her, and she'll notice whenever I've had a release, because she'll say, you look different, or you're acting different. And to me, that's whenever I know that I'm done. Whenever she notices, usually, is whenever I've completed the release.
And you're an expert on releasing, and you don't need to go anywhere just to have it done.
Yeah, it's all, like I said, I know you talked on that earlier, but from my experience, always ask for it to be fun and easy and fast. Make it be fast, fast, fast. Because, my first few, they were very emotional. They were hard, and it just depends on how you go with it. But I don't know what made me decide to do that one day. I just decided, why not ask for it to be easy? So I did, and now they are.
Right. Wow. This is quite amazing. I'm so happy that this rendezvous, this meeting took place, and I think that was a great idea.
So thank you for my VIP day, and this has been amazing. All the work that we've done together, and I really value everything that you've taught me, and I'm looking forward to more and more.
Thank you. Yeah. I love my clients. I love my clients. It's a blessing to work with you, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we had fun, right? Did we have fun?
I've had a blast.
Yeah, I have a blast too. People are scared in front of a camera, and you first time, right, doing Google Hangout, so that's quite an experience. And I really like that we're together in the office doing this, so it's perfect.
It is perfect.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you now understand, and you will consider having a spiritual mentor, because that's really an important thing in your life to accelerate and to really change your life for a better. Exactly. And right now I would like to invite you, if you would like to start manifesting and even learn what manifestation really is. Like Stephanie didn't know what it was, but it gives great results. Manifesting means achieving your goals, practically. And there is a better definition, but about that later. And so if you would like to have your goals accomplished in much less time than that you would do it on your own, then I invite you to go to my website, dreammanifestingformula.com, and claim your free video training. It's a 7-day video training on how to manifest your dreams, how to make your goals and dreams come true. I've been doing it for more than 25 years, and when I look back and I said, oh my gosh, I have a system. How do I do it? I never thought about it. I just did it automatically, but there were steps involved. So I put this all together in a system, and I did the video training, and you can have it at dreammanifestingformula.com. Absolutely free. You will get an instant access, and it's called Dream Manifesting Formula, the step-by-step guide to achieving your dreams, big and small, so you can be on your way to achieving your dreams, as Stephanie has been manifesting hers with such speed. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Everyone, have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.